So 5 favorite Ocean songs to play live. Sea of Reeds of Holocene. This is a track we've only been playing live since last October, and it was difficult at first. It's such an intimate, quiet song that is kind of like, in a way, anticlimactic, Like it takes a long time to get into it. It doesn't really have a big dramatic ending. It's just overall very, very quiet. And at the same time, it's rhythmically immensely intricate and complicated. It kind of started as a mistake. Peter sent me a synth loop that wasn't exactly straight or exactly on time. And instead of straightening it out, I decided to add like a 16th note at the end to the bar to make it very weird and crooked. And it's something you have to really learn and get into the motion memory in order to be able to play it. But once you do, it's fascinating. It's just very fun part to play. And that whole song is just a very different challenge from most Ocean songs. It's completely without heavy distorted guitars. It's a song you have to kind of get in the zone for. And we play it as the third track of the set. So it's also there for a reason. It kind of requires the first 2 tracks to get there, to be in a place to be able to play that song. So it's a difficult one. It's a challenging one, but very rewarding. Jurassic Cretaceous will be number 2. It's a fan's favorite. It is probably the most epic track we have ever written. It's 14 minutes long. It goes through very different musical territories, like from very quiet and electronic parts with arpeggiator synths to like full on black metal blast beats at the end. It's a real journey. And it's one of those tracks that took forever to write. Like it took almost 3 years. It was never at the point where I felt it was finished. So I put it aside and then went back to it at a later point. There were many moments when I was thinking that track would never become a song. It would just be like discarded musical ideas or musical trash. But eventually I finished it and would have never thought that it turns to such a hit. It's the most played song on Spotify right now. And I think we're always going to be stung with having to play that track. It's currently the closing track of the set, and it's hard to imagine replacing it with anything else. Another favorite is Firmament, the opener of Heliocentric. We've played that song so many times that it's a bit at the point now where we're trying to do sets without it and not admitting that the set feels incomplete then. And I think we're getting to the point where we can genuinely play a set without that track. But the fact that this is difficult shows you that it's an important song, and it's a track that people always want to hear. It's just band, really. There's no extra instrumentation on it, like on most other Ocean songs. This one is really just drums, bass, 2 guitars, and vocals. I remember it was the one track that made us decide on Loic as vocalist when he joined the band in 2009. We sent him the demos of Firmament and asked him to improvise and sing over the track. And he came back with vocals without lyrics, but just the vocal lines that ended up being the final vocal lines that ended up on the studio recording later. So it was also like a kind of pivotal track for us in many ways. Like when we heard Loic sing over that track, we were like, this is the course where we're headed. We need this guy in the band. Playing that track live always brings me back to that time. And the band was a different band back then, except for myself and Loic, who had just joined. Everyone else was different players. So you also always connect these songs with very different moments in your life, different people you've played with, different tours you've done under certain circumstances. And so it's a trip down the memory lane for me always when we play that track. I usually get quite immersed in my own little world live, and this track sends me down the memory lane to good places in the past. Number 4, Cambrian, the opener of Phanerozoic 1. I could equally choose Permian, the closing track. We usually play either one of these 2 tracks in the set list. It's just a really good riff that is really fun to play and kind of like captures the essence of the heavy side of the Ocean, I think, very well. Like that is a riff I would just pick to play to kind of show what this band is all about, I think. And then the end, this anthemic end vocal chorus is something that is maybe a bit out of the box for the Ocean almost, because it's very catchy and melodic, but it works super well live. It's just a part that people always sing along. Playing that track always feels right. It's just, there's like, you don't need to be in the mood for it. Like you play it and the track will put you in the mood. It's like that. It's very powerful. That's a good one. Finally, of course, a Pelagial track has to be in that list. I enjoy playing that whole record still, and we are actually going to do that this year. We're going to play some Pelagial full album sets. Who knows? Maybe even in Australia, because that record still feels very fresh, and I think it's still the most popular record we have out there. There are some songs we haven't played in many years, but one that we have played recently is actually two tracks that are kind of like combined into one. It's Impasses and The Wishing Dreams. Those tracks are super fun to play live. The Wishing Dreams is on the fast side of things for the Ocean. It's quite technical and upbeat and with lots of guitar notes. I think there's more guitar notes in that 3 minutes track than in a lot of plus 9 minute Ocean tracks. So it's unusual in a way for us because we're more of a mid-tempo, slow to mid-tempo band usually. So this one is quite on the fast side. But yeah, it's super fun to play live. There's a lot happening, crazy drumming, and I just love looking at my bandmates, especially Paul, the drummer, and like just locking in on these parts. And when we play it well, it's just crushing and like really, really fun and high energy type of track to play. But yeah, I could have equally chosen Let Them Believe from Pelagial for one of the more epic, quiet songs. So like that whole record is still very fun to play live.